As Trump continues to staff his second administration, we are yet again humoring the same chest beating about how this time it'll really be the best people. And this might sound like one hell of a coincidence, but several of those people just so happen to be members of the Trump family. I know, what are the odds? So let's discuss some potential members of the incoming Trump administration who are there because they deserve it and definitely not because of nepotism. First off, there's Charles Kushner, Jared Kushner's father and Ivanka Trump's father-in-law. He's a wealthy real estate executive and a major Trump donor. And if it doesn't surprise you that Kushner is a wealthy donor, what should surprise you is that he's also a convicted felon who in 2005 was sentenced to 2 years in prison as part of a plea deal after he pleaded guilty to 18 counts, including tax evasion, witness tampering, and making illegal campaign donations. And it's certainly worth mentioning that he received a pardon from then President Trump. Here's what Chris Christie said about that case.
It's one of the most loathsome, disgusting crimes that I prosecuted when I was U.S. attorney. And I was U.S. attorney in New Jersey, Margaret, so we had some loathsome and disgusting crime going on there.
And for all of the pearl clutching from the right surrounding Biden's pardon of his son Hunter, there's a conspicuous lack of pearl clutching about Donald Trump not only pardoning Kushner in 2020, but then tapping him for ambassador to France in this administration. In other words, when Republicans issue pardons, it's not only disqualifying, but apparently a prerequisite. Then there's Trump's pick for senior advisor on Arab and Middle Eastern affairs, Mossad Boulos, who's also Tiffany Trump's father-in-law. He's heavily involved in campaigning for Trump in Arab American communities in battleground states. And finally, we've got Trump's own daughter-in-law and Eric Trump's wife, Laura Trump, the RNC co-chair and a potential replacement for Marco Rubio in Florida's U.S. Senate seat, a position for which she is eminently qualified given her background in culinary school. But still, that hasn't stopped certain Republican lawmakers like Katie Britt and Anna Paulina Luna from advocating for her to be Rubio's replacement. And look, even if that doesn't work out, at least the US government will have been a good little launching pad for Laura Trump's true passion, making auto-tuned music.
No, this can't be denied. You gotta be special.
That is right. Despite the fact that she is currently the co-chair of the Republican National Committee, the RNC, Laura Trump is still actively pursuing a music career.
Because why serve the American people when you can just subject them to your voice on auto-tune? And look, none of this is new. I know Trump loves to view himself as some visionary, but engaging in nepotism is not innovative. Trump is simply there taking care of the people who bent the knee to him, and that's what this comes down to. It's not about who's going to be best to serve the American people. It's not about who is the most qualified. It's about the one person who it's always about, and that's Trump. He views the government not as a way to serve us, but rather as a vehicle for us to serve him, his ambitions, and his pursuit of power. Before you go, to see more content from MSNBC, make sure to subscribe to this channel by clicking the link right here on this screen. And you can also follow the link to see some exclusive content only on TikTok.